This week, Ubisoft wants us to get over owning our own games. We reached the end of Epic versus Apple, and more, so let's just go ahead, together, as the people of course, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and I'm back to talk about the gaming news. And the best way to keep up with the gaming news, in my opinion, is by subscribing to this channel. And the best way to play games, in Ubisoft's opinion, is by subscribing to their subscription service. So there's been a story making the rounds about a recent interview with Ubisoft's Director of Subscriptions, R.I.P'd, I hope I said that right, that was conducted by GameIndustry.biz. So basically, Ubisoft rebranded a subscription service for like the 900th time, and Felipe was doing an interview to talk about their offerings, and during the interview, he was quoted as saying the following. One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to a little bit like DVD having and owning their games. That's the consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable owning their CD and DVD collection. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress file is still there. That's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in your game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. So yeah, it's about being comfortable with not owning your games. So that's a statement that's being spread around in the news stories. And in my opinion, it's a pretty dumb statement for someone at Ubisoft to say. Now personally, I don't have a problem with subscription services like Game Pass, where you get the first party titles from Microsoft, but you also get a bunch of third party titles, including like the older EA games, so you get that EA Play subscription included. But with Ubisoft, you're really only getting their titles. So it's stupid to be like, it's about being comfortable with not owning games. Like, no, it's about being offered a good value for the subscription. No offense to anyone that loves Ubisoft's games that finds value in that subscription, but as far as a wider appeal outside of those specific people, it's not going to happen. And it's not because people feel like they need to own their games. It's because you're literally one publisher offering only their games in a subscription. And the quote, he uses physical media as examples like movies and music. And yes, they did basically go digital, but you can still buy and own copies of songs and movies if you want to. And with those subscription services, you'll usually get a mix of media from different companies. Now, it's a bit more complicated on the video side because you do have Disney Plus, which is mainly stuff from Disney, but they have a lot more content that they can offer per year than Ubisoft does to keep people subscribed to their service. But either way, I don't think that statement from that interview is going to have people flocking to subscribe to Ubisoft services. Well, Ubisoft isn't the only gaming company making the news, as Epic versus Apple has finally concluded. It feels weird that I've been following this story for so long. This started back in 2020 and it technically concluded in court back in 2021. I'm going to do a quick recap since it's been so long since it all started. Basically, Epic Games violated Apple and Google's App Store policies by offering their own payment method in Fortnite and charging less money to buy V-Bucks directly through them. As a result, the game was pulled off both app stores, and Epic, of course, was prepared for this and sued both of them. For Apple specifically, they did this ad using Fortnite graphics to parody this old Apple commercial. It was a whole thing. But anyway, I recently covered the suit with Epic and Google because I just went to court recently. But after the initial decision on the Apple versus Epic suit in 2021, we haven't heard much about it aside from both companies were appealing the decision. And basically in that suit, Epic was out to prove that Apple had an App Store monopoly, and essentially they want to be able to have their own App Store on the iPhone. When the trial ended, the courts mostly sided with Apple, except they said Apple had to allow developers to point to other ways to pay if they don't want to use Apple's payment method, which does take a percentage of the profits if you pay directly through the App Store. So both Apple and Epic have been appealing the ruling since 2021. Epic, of course, not being happy with Apple not being seen as a monopoly, and Apple not being happy about having to change their App Store rules. Well, the legal battle has finally concluded because, well, basically the Supreme Court has denied to hear appeals from both sides. So it looks like Epic didn't get anything that they wanted, and Apple is going to have to change the way that they handle alternative payment methods. Meanwhile, Fortnite hasn't been on Apple's App Store since 2020. Now, there is a way to play a streaming version on iPhone, but it looks like it's not likely to change, especially since Epic's appeal failed. The lawsuit with Google did go in their favor, but we don't know what the consequences are going to be for Google just yet. But for now, it looks like the 3-year saga with Apple is finally over. And speaking of Epic, they own Harmonix, the creator of the game Rockband, which I do have on Xbox. Yes, I'm one of those people that have a full instrument set, and I still bust out Rockband from time to time. And yes, that's the reason I'm covering this story. Now, one of the things that Harmonix has been good with is supporting Rockband games by letting you import songs from previous games, along with doing weekly DLC. And they've done weekly DLC for Rock Band 4 since its release. Well, that's coming to an end. As of Wednesday, they will be releasing the final DLC for Rock Band 4. Now, Harmonix has said that the live services and online play will remain active. It's just that we won't get any more new songs. Basically, they're going to be focusing full time on the Fortnite festivals. I will give Harmonix this: 8+ years is a long time to support a rhythm game with new songs. And it sucks because Epic owns them and they're doing the Fortnite festival stuff now. So there probably won't be another Rock Band anytime soon. So it's R.I.P. to new Rock Band DLC, for now at least. But I'm done talking about a game from 2015. It's time to talk about a more recent game, like the best-selling game of 2023. And in fact, let's talk about it in our final story. So 2023 was a pretty good year for game releases, and there were a lot of big games last year. But one game in particular has broken a trend that has been happening since 2008, where basically the best-selling game every year has been a Call of Duty or a Rockstar game. So as it turns out, the best-selling game of 2023 is Hogwarts Legacy. So this game came out pretty early in the year, so I kind of forgot it was a 2023 game. But it makes sense. Harry Potter is an extremely popular franchise, and they had the Switch version, which was of questionable quality, but they did get it to run on the Switch, so I can't hate on it too much. That version dropped towards the end of the year, which probably boosted the sales even more. I knew the game did well, but yeah, it's the first non-Call of Duty or Rockstar game to be #1 sales-wise since 2008. Now, I don't really look at the game sales like that, so I didn't realize how well the Call of Duty games sold. I knew Rockstar games were usually huge when they dropped, but there's a lot of Call of Duty on that list since 2008. And also, it's my duty to bring the video to a close, but let me know in the comments what was your #1 game of 2023. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or a live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.